Hey guys, I'm Justin.
I'm Leigh.
And on today's episode, we've got a brand new episode of To Keep or Not to Keep. So you guys know the drill. This is not going to be a very heavily edited video. We'll go ahead and roll the intro there, and then we'll get right into it.
To keep or not to keep?
So we're going to start this episode. I'm going to have a couple of what I'm going to call revotes. You guys saw last month how we do this. We go through each title. Did we like it? Did we not? Give our thoughts, opinions on it. Kind of give a little mini review. And then we decide whether we're going to keep it or sell it. I do have two revotes in this as from the last time that we did this. So we'll jump into those and then get into the new stuff. The first one here is Murder Size. So I said last time that this was the only movie in the stacks that we didn't watch all the way through. And I said that we were going to watch it on Tubi and give it a more of a chance. And we did, and it was still bad. This is a pretty rough watch. I don't know of anyone, unless you're just someone who wants to see half-naked women. And I mean, they're not really even, there's not even like...
There's not even a lot of nudity at all.
No. So, I mean, I don't really know the whole purpose of this, to be honest. And that sounds really bad. But, like, if you're going to make a movie like this, there's two reasons. Either it's high in gore or high in nudity. And this one had neither at all, even remotely close. So, this one is a revote. We voted to sell it last time, but I said we were going to, rewatch it. We did. For me, it's still a sell.
Well, it was a sell for me before I watched it.
Yeah. So, and then Leigh will be happy to know I've put this one to a revote, and that is Feed Me. I like Feed Me. I do not think that it was a bad movie. Leigh completely disagreed with me. It is nasty. It's disgusting. It's grimy. It's what it's supposed to be. It does its job well. You're supposed to hate the guy. Your main character, you're supposed to absolutely hate him and just want him to get caught for doing what he's doing. However, I put this one in the nice clear protector and got ready to put it on the shelf, and the stuff that I was putting it beside, I was like, Leigh's probably right, I'm never going to rewatch this. And so I'm at a point with shelving and space. If I'm never going to rewatch it, it's time to let it go. So Leigh voted to sell this one last time. I voted to keep it, and again, like I said, go to put it on the shelf. I'll probably never rewatch this one, even though I didn't hate it as much as Leigh did. I'm going to vote to sell it this time, so we are going to get rid of Feed Me as well. So now we will move into some of the good stuff that we've watched. Let's start with this one. There's no better way to start off the new stuff than with this film right here, and that is Slaughterhouse. Carl and Eric both raved about this one. They said that I needed to buy it and that I would love it. And I'm going to be honest, 9 times out of 10, the things that Carl tells me I'm going to love, I could kill him after we watch it. But this one, I watched this and I loved it. I thought this was great. Essentially, what it is a sloth is brought back he's put in captivity. Mm-hmm. He is brought back from the jungles, and this sorority winds up finding him, or her, it's a her. They wind up finding her and putting her, and it is now their sorority's mascot. And of course, she doesn't like being a mascot, and she's going to kill all these girls in this sorority one way or another. And just all chaos ensues. I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was good.
Slaughterhouse, I have to vote to keep. It's very rare that on a low-budget film like that we both agree, but I loved it. Next up, one that I thought I would like a lot more, and that's Emily Blunt in Wind Chill. So
super slow.
I don't really even know how to give this one a synopsis. Essentially, this girl is getting ready to go home for the winter. She doesn't want to take the bus, and so they have like this community board where they put where they're going, and you can kind of ride together. And she winds up riding with this guy that she knows nothing about. And basically, he winds up trying to take a shortcut because he has a crush on her. You can tell by some of the things that he says. But as she kind of starts to catch on and she's like, dude, you're creepy, he tries to take a shortcut and winds up getting them stuck in some snow. And then all of a sudden they start seeing all these ghosts, and I don't know, it's very weird, it's very convoluted, and we didn't even make it through this one either. And it's only an hour and 31 minutes, so...
We about did, though. I mean, we watched most of it.
We probably watched about 45 minutes. We probably watched about half. We probably watched about 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah, but I don't know why the ghosts were there. I mean, there was something about, I don't know. I'm not even going to pretend to know. We watched this at the beginning of the cycle for this episode. I didn't care for it. I vote to sell.
Great.
Okay. Look at there, another sale. So this one right here, The Last Video Store from Arrow Video. This one was okay. Essentially what happens is this guy owns a video store, and it is the last video store. He knows everything about every movie ever to come along. He's a huge horror buff. And this girl winds up finding these tapes from her deceased father, and she winds up taking them back. And they wind up trying to, he's rewinding them and everything. And she says, and by the way, I found this one. And it's like the Necronomicon of tapes, kind of hearkening back to Evil Dead. And when they put it in, he has like a 5-track tape player. And so he has 4 other tapes in there. And when he puts this Necronomicon, it like sends lightning and surges of energy and brings those characters to life. And so they start attacking them in the video store. Overall, a really cool concept, I thought. But the centralized location of all taking place in a movie store, and the fact that I didn't really love the 2 main characters kind of brought it down for me a little bit. This one's definitely campy. It's definitely got some low budgetness to it, especially for it to be an Arrow Video release. It kind of shocked me. I vote to sell this one. I didn't love it. Surprised, didn't I? Yeah, there we go. So, you?
I'm fine with selling it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's got like a complete Jason ripoff. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't a terrible movie. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's the worst movie I've ever watched. But again, when it comes to space, and especially being an Arrow Video, it ranked pretty low for me. Next up, one that I can finally say that I have watched all of. I could not say that until me and Leigh made it through it this time. And that is The Last House on the Left remake. This is from, I'm not sure, 2008. So everybody knows what this is. Essentially, these, I think only one of them was incarcerated. He was in jail. Mm-hmm. He gets free. His brother and their girlfriend, I don't know, she's kind of all over the place. They wind up setting him free. They're hiding out in a hotel. This girl moves with her family. They go and they take a family vacation at their lake home, as they always do. She winds up going into town. They ruffle the feathers of this group of these 3 people, and they wind up taking advantage of her, we'll put it that way. And they leave her for dead, and they think that they've killed her, but little do they know they didn't. And so she goes back home and winds up finding her way back to the lake house. They are there because they wind up wrecking the vehicle, so they hike to the lake home. And once the parents find their daughter as scarred up and beat up as she is, they find a way to get rid of these intruders, kind of so to speak. So this one is one, because of the subject matter of it, I hate films like this. Absolutely hate them. I've always been that way. I've never really been able to watch this one because of that, but I powered through, and I have to honestly say I'm glad that I did. This one is one that really makes you root in the end for the parents. You're like, yeah, get them. I enjoyed this one. The only saving grace I can say on this one is when it comes to the scene where they take advantage, not a lot is shown. And that is a blessing, because a lot of films like this, they do show more than this one did. I think Leigh even said too, though, we wish they would just deal with like suggestion as opposed to showing any of it whatsoever. But that's not what they did. Will I ever rewatch this one? I'm not sure. But I'm still... because I actually made it through it, and because of that end sequence and the stuff kind of, more so the second and third act of the film, I vote to keep.
Agreed.
So, another one that was pretty good here, in my opinion, was Flatliners. This one has a hell of a cast, and I don't know how it took me so long to watch this one, but I'd never seen this. This has Julia Roberts, Kiefer Sutherland, Oliver Platt, I believe. It has one of the bald ones. I can't ever keep them straight. I think that may be all of the main ones. Whoops, I'm knocking stuff over. Kevin Bacon. How did I forget Kevin Bacon? A hell of a cast. So essentially what this is these medical students, they have found a facility off campus, and they are basically killing themselves and seeing... once they kill themselves, they see kind of the afterlife, and then they bring themselves back. And it's all about what they see in the afterlife and being able to document that and being able to say, I've seen death and this is what it is. But the bad thing is their past, whenever they die and they come back, they're bringing it back with them. So like Kiefer Sutherland, he bullied a boy and he wound up dying in school. He has come back all these years after, to haunt him, and it's all like that. There's different scenarios for each of them. And it's all about basically having to cheat death and make amends with your past in order to stay alive. Like I said, I can't believe that it took me this long to see this one. This one was made in 1990, and I'd never seen it. I've seen it 1,000,001 times in used movie stores and stuff, but never picked it up. And super glad that I finally got around to this Arrow video. I loved it. I won't say loved it. I highly enjoyed it, and I liked it. I vote to keep.
I would keep. Can't believe we're agreeing so far.
I know, man. Better write this down. So this one here, Nightmare on Elm Street, the 4K. This one's kind of a cheat title. I put this one in and watched maybe 30 minutes of it one morning while Leigh was still asleep, so she actually didn't get a chance. We both seen Nightmare on Elm Street. I love the original. I love part 3. Part 2 is hit or miss. I love 3 and 4. But the reason I got this, of course, I have the crappy Blu-ray box set, but everybody has said that this was in like their top 5 releases for last year because of the transfer. So I picked it up to check it out, and they're right. It has a damn good transfer. So I'll vote to keep this one. Leigh didn't really get to see it, but all this is, it's just, I picked it up solely for the transfer because it's a 4K. So next up, Arena Wars. So this one is from Gravitas Ventures. Got this one from Amazon. Essentially what this is this game show is on TV, and they have these convicts that they put into an arena to fight these mass murderers, killers, whatever you want to call them. And if they can manage to win, then they are let out of jail, they are released, and they get off death row. They're mostly all death row inmates. And they basically find this one guy and they put him in there, and they're like, hey, the people love you. They've actually found somebody to cheer. Their ratings have kind of gone down because there's never any hope of anyone winning. And so when they put him in there, all these fans, they start seeing hope, and they're like, yay. And so they really get behind him. Overall, it was pretty good. It is a lower budgeted film. It doesn't have any really big actors or actresses in it.
Yeah, but the characters that they're fighting against, that are all masked and everything, they are human, but they drug them. Mm-hmm. Like they hype them up on adrenaline and steroids to make them more superhuman-like. Mm-hmm. So that's why no one ever typically wins against them. Yeah.
So overall, this is one that I think, once you kind of know the story, you almost have to rewatch it to get more enjoyment out of it, because there's a lot packed into this for no longer than it is. It is like an hour and it's 96 minutes, but there's actually a lot packed into here. There's a lot of information. The story takes a lot of twists and turns. Overall, though, I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was all right.
Probably one of the lower films in this list, but I would still vote to keep on this one.
I'm okay with that.
So there's Arena Wars. So next up we have Sliver. Leigh swears up and down that we watched this. I think Leigh watched this without me or some other time. I do not remember watching this. And I do have to say that she told me when we got it, she was like, you're not going to like it because of the subject matter. It has a lot of sexual innuendo and stuff like that to do with it. That's essentially what the film is. And I have to say, though, I proved her wrong. I actually did rather enjoy this one. It was pretty fun. So basically you have Sharon Stone, and she lives in this apartment complex. She's new. And you have, I don't remember, again, it's the same Baldwin from flatliners. I think is it Michael?
I don't know, babe.
All those bald ones run together, but you have one of the bald ones, and basically he has all this computer technology and stuff in his apartment, and he is able to see each and every apartment, and he's able to see everyone's most intimate, darkest, proudest moments out of everything, and he just watches, and that's all he does. And so there's someone out stalking her, and she after she kind of learns what she learns, she thinks that it's him, and they wind up falling in love and having this relationship kind of, and so it's all about taking the twists and turns and everything that it does to get to the end of who really is the stalker.
She has multiple people that want to date her in this apartment complex. So once she learns that the previous tenant died, and actually they said it was a suicide, that she fell off her balcony down however many stories. She starts putting pieces together.
So this one is, I'm going to call this a typical Sharon Stone movie. She did, all the Sharon Stone movies are kind of the same. They're very sensual. They are very high in thriller volume, mystery almost. But overall, I enjoyed this one. Leigh didn't think that I would, because again, she said that we had watched it before, and I said that I didn't. I don't remember anything about it. I really, truly did not remember this one. But again, I enjoyed it. It didn't have as much as some of her other films, so I don't think it had as much as some of the others. So I enjoyed it. I vote to keep. It's a Vinegar Syndrome. We got to keep it. It was too damn expensive to get rid of it. Alright guys, had to pause and restart the camera there. So next up, rolling right along, I did reorder these a little bit because Leigh did not see all of any of the next 3 or 4. So first up here is Spider Labyrinth. So this one was pretty fun. A guy goes across the world for kind of a work trip. There's this cult, and they basically try to kill him with spiders and things like that. She, the main female, bad woman, I guess you could say, is kind of a spider herself, the way her teeth and stuff look. This one, the story, it's very kind of convoluted, and it is kind of hard to follow. And I have to be honest, I watched this the night before we got ready to go to Atlanta. So I was trying to pack, I was trying to do other things, and I didn't fully understand the story myself. I was able to kind of piece it all together. Leigh came in on the tail end and kind of watched it. This one I definitely am going to give a rewatch, but overall, even without fully understanding the story and only getting kind of pieces of it doing other things, I still enjoyed it enough to vote keep.
I don't have a say because I didn't watch it. So.
Yeah, you should watch the tail end, but maybe the last 30 minutes. Leigh did not watch this one either. That is Prey from Vinegar Syndrome. I have to be honest, I did not make it all the way through this one either myself, because it was just weird. So basically this alien comes down, and he's a shapeshifter, so he kills this where he crashes. There's a guy and a girl making out in a car, and so he winds up killing both of them and takes the identity of the male, looks just like him, and he winds up going in, and he is taken in by this pair of lesbians, and it was just really weird. There was probably a good 30 minutes where nothing really happened. It was just dialogue. This film I didn't know if I was going to like it or not anyways. It's from 1977. A lot of 70s films, they just have that vibe. They just have that feel that a lot of them I just don't care for. But I decided I would check it out anyways. I told you guys when we unboxed this, I got the slip to add a couple extra dollars to the release. And I figured if I liked it, I would have another slip to Vinegar Syndrome, but I did not, so sell. Next up, another one. I did this one the same way. I slipped it, and I figured if I liked it, I would have a new version slipped to put into my collection. If I didn't like it, though, we would have a slipped version to add a couple extra dollars to the release, and that is Terror from Vinegar Syndrome. It was buried 100 years but never laid to rest, is the synopsis there, kind of. I enjoyed this one. This one was fun. Another very weird, convoluted storyline. It had a lot of big gaps in the story, but the gore and the overall way that it kind of wrapped itself around was fun. That's really all I can say about this one. Again, the storyline was kind of convoluted. I'm not even going to try to get into a synopsis of this one. Check out the trailer. This one is one that I've stayed away from because, again, I think this one's like 78 or 79. I enjoyed the hell out of this one, though. I had a lot of fun watching it. Keep. And then lastly, out here for the ones that I watched that Leigh did not is the 4K Steelbook for Motel Hell. I have a love-hate relationship with this film. Motel Hell is not my favorite. I know that me and Carl have talked about this before. I think even on the channel, and Eric have talked about this before. Carl loves this film. I don't hate it, but again, it's one that has a lot of pretty big plot holes and things like that. So overall, I mean, I will keep it. I've had like 4 different editions of this movie. I'll always upgrade and buy it. I'm always intrigued by the big pig mask with the chainsaw. That's honestly the one scene that keeps me coming back to this. Basically, Farmer Vincent is, they run a hotel, and they are taking these people and growing them in the ground like heads, and they're turning them into Farmer Vincent's meats, if that kind of makes sense. So overall, I mean, again, pretty enjoyable. This steelbook is absolutely phenomenal. This, in my opinion, is the best release for this. If you're going to pick it up, definitely grab the steelbook. Love the art. I'm going to vote to keep it just because, again, I go back and forth. It will probably one day eventually get sold. But for now, we'll keep Motel Hell. So, next up, Shocking Dark. So, this will probably be our divider for the episode, I would imagine. Shocking Dark was... It's kind of weird. So, you have basically this military... it's a mashup of like 1,000,001 different styles and different films all put into one, and this is the perfect example of it does none of them well kind of thing. It is basically an alien invasion film. You have these aliens that come down and they spin these people into webs, and then you have this cyborg that kind of comes from out of nowhere. So it's almost like Terminator and Alien. I don't know. There's a lot of things going on for this, and like I said, it doesn't do any of them well. Another one, when we got home from Atlanta, I was repacking totes, and I missed a lot of the story of this one, especially on the front end. I definitely want to give this one a rewatch, but until I can do that, I'm going to vote to keep it. The gore and stuff in it looked pretty good, looked okay. The mutant looked really cool. The cyborg, he looked pretty cool in it. They rip half of his face off there at one point. The effects and everything of that. The aliens looked pretty good in it as well, I thought. So I'm going to vote to keep this one, especially pending a rewatch on this one for sure. So
you can rewatch that one all by yourself.
Okay.
That one was stupid.
I figured Leigh would differ with me on that one. Alright, so we're down to our final 2. I got on a kick where I wanted to watch both of these, and so knowing the main actress in the one that I really wanted to watch, I put this other one in first, kind of as a preface to that, as a precursor, and that is Striptease. I had actually never seen this film with a name like Striptease. I figured, again, it would fall in that category of film that I don't like, that's a little too sexual, things like that. And again, I kind of one of those, I keep kicking myself in the butt that I didn't watch sooner, because it's not at all what I thought it was. This one, personally, I had a lot of fun with this one. This one has a really good story.
Sure you did, with all the titties in it.
not even, whatever. So this one actually does have a really good story, though. You have Patrick, what is his name? I can never remember. What's dude's name?
Which guy?
Her husband.
Oh, I don't know his name. Burt Reynolds is in it.
Yeah, it does have Burt Reynolds. That's going to drive me crazy, because he is in a lot of horror films. Robert Patrick, he's in a lot of horror films, so I knew that was going to drive me crazy. Robert Patrick and Demi Moore are married. They share a child. They are going through a divorce. Demi Moore has worked for the FBI previously. he winds up getting her fired, and so he gets full custody because Demi Moore does not have a job. In order to make money to afford her court fees, in order to take her husband back for custody rights, she winds up becoming a stripper. And Burt Reynolds, he's
a congressman.
A congressman. He takes a liking to her, and basically there's a whole underlying plot of deception and, of course, just dirty politics as always that kind of goes into that. Again, this is one that I thought was just going to be all, stripper scenes and everything else. There is a lot of nudity in this one, but again, it actually had a really good story, and it's one that I really do hate that I took this long to watch. So I vote to keep.
Yeah.
Okay. And then lastly right here, again, I watched that one with Demi Moore because this one had Demi Moore, so we kind of did it almost as a double feature back-to-back nights, and that is The Substance here. So many years apart, Demi Moore looks a little worse for wear in this one. You can definitely tell she's aged. But basically The Substance is, you have Demi Moore's character. She is a exercise fitness model. And you have Randy Quaid, who is her boss, and he says, look, you're too old, and I don't want you in this position anymore. And they wind up firing her. She gets hit by a car on the way home, goes to the hospital. She doesn't have any big, breaks or anything like that, so they let her go. But the nurse slips her this flash drive on the way out, and he's like, take a look at this. And so when she looks at it, it's something called The Substance. And basically it's just saying that it will release your inner best part. And so it says that you activate only once, and then you,
Stabilize.
You stabilize once a day, and you swap every 7
once a day.
You feed once a day, activate once a day, and then swap every 7 days, right?
You activate once, you stabilize every day, feed every day, and swap every 7 days.
Okay. So you do that, and you have to do it without fail. And so basically Demi Moore takes the drug, and she births out of her back a full-grown human. And basically it is a woman who is very pretty, and she goes and she basically gets Demi Moore's old job, and she starts doing the exercise and the fitness, and they kind of, she becomes this icon, posing for Vogue magazine and everything. But the thing is, as she gains more popularity, as she becomes more full of life and being able, hey, I want to go sleep with this man, or I want to go on a date, or I want to go to this party, she starts taking. And as she takes, and she doesn't do every 7 days, she doesn't swap with Demi Moore's character every 7 days, you start seeing the effects that it will have on Demi Moore's character. Overall, I really enjoyed this one. This is a pretty lengthy film. It was about 2 hours and 20 minutes. I will say about the first 2 hours of this, the way that it is shot is beautiful. Like some of the scenes, like just Dennis Quaid is eating shrimp at one point, I believe it is, and just the way that they zoom in on his mouth, and he's chewing with his mouth open, it's crazy, but it's got some really good visuals in it. About the first 2 hours, the storyline was really fun. And then right there, probably the last 20 to 30 minutes, if you've seen the trailer, this is not a spoiler because there is a monster in this, as we'll leave it at that. I could have done without that. I really could have. I could have left it at the... I don't want to ruin anything because this is a new film. For those of you who have seen it, I could have left it at the fight scene, we'll call it. At the house, at Demi Moore's home. I could have left it with that and been done. I didn't have to have the whole monster thing at the end. I felt like it made the story just, I don't know. I didn't care for it as much. But I will say, there is a lot of bloodshed at the end, and this will probably go down because of that one scene as one of the most grotesque and bloody scenes in horror history, and one that I feel like people will talk about for years to come. Because aside from that, there's really no killing in this film. There's no blood in this film, really, aside from a nosebleed. There's very little in this film as far as that goes, and even at the end, there's still no killing. You got to watch it to kind of find out what we're talking about through the mystery here, I guess. Overall, though, I did enjoy it. I vote to keep it.
Agreed.
So that is The Substance. If you guys have not seen it, check it out. Again, I know that made a lot of people's like top 5 for last year for like best movies of all time. So yeah, definitely check that out. We'll take a second here and talk about a film that we watched. We did go to the theater. We did watch one movie in the theater. We went and saw Heart Eyes. So I don't have a physical copy. It's not out yet, but when we do, that'll be an instant keep. I thought Heart Eyes was one of the best horror films I've seen in a very long time. It does, unlike Shocking Dark, where it does 10 different things and does them poorly, Heart Eyes does 5 different things and does them all well. Mm-hmm. It is a horror movie. It is a comedy. It is a love story. It has hints of mystery, and it does all of them well. Suspense, and thriller, I guess. Yeah.
The gore.
Like the gore. Yeah. All of it was great. It's got some good It's got good character development. Just everything about it was good. So if you guys haven't checked out Heart Eyes, I think it might be out of the theaters already, because I think it came out the week before Valentine's. But if you guys haven't seen that, definitely when that gets released here in the next month and a half, 2 months, they're getting the turnaround from theater to physical is pretty quick nowadays. So when that one comes out, we do highly suggest that you check that one out. I wanted to see it, and I was honestly kind of worried about Leigh just being bored to tears, because she's not a big horror fan, and to know that she actually really enjoyed it, it made me know that we didn't waste our money to go. I'd already started kind of hearing some of the reviews where they were like, "This movie's not what you think it is," and it was like, "Damn, like is this movie gonna suck?" But man, I enjoyed it. One of my favorite movies, probably out of the past 5 years that I've seen. Drum Dums here on YouTube, I think he said it best. If you like Scream, the direction that Scream has kind of gone, and those style of films, you'll like Heart Eyes. So we do want to throw that in there just because that is another movie that we've watched since we did the last update. So there is that. So tallying everything up, we do have a total of 5 sales. We'll go through those again right quick. It is The Prey from 1977. The Last Video Store from Arrow Video. That is I think that was like 2007 or something like that. It was relatively new. Wind Chill with Emily Blunt. And then the revotes from last time, we do have Feed Me and Murder Size for the sales. So again, if you guys want any of these, check us out at a local convention or check out the social medias and figure out where we're going to be close to you. If you guys want one and you want me to ship it, hit us up on the email. You can go to the website and find our email. It's horrorlandmedia@outlook.com. So always going to be happy to get those into the hands of someone who may actually like them. So we do have quite the stack of stuff that we are keeping. If I had to pick probably 2 to give a shout out to and to say go watch, like must watches, and Leigh, you can do the same if you disagree with me here, but probably 2 of my favorite out of this entire stack are going to be Slaughterhouse. I cannot suggest this one enough. I absolutely love Slaughterhouse. It's the stupid kind of campy horror, low budget stuff. Definitely check that one out. And I would give it to The Substance. Check this one out. It is a long watch, but I didn't find myself bored with it, and I love the direction that it took. It definitely a great body horror film there. So those are my 2 suggestions. Do you have a differing?
No, not really. I actually agree with you this time.
There we go.
It's kind of scary.
We better write this down. So all of you out there heard that. She agreed with me. So I have this on video. But anyways, guys, as always, we greatly appreciate you tuning in. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, I know that this one got a lot more views than a lot of the reviews that we were doing, so clearly you guys are liking this style a little bit more. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Follow us on all the social medias listed down below. We do have both Mothershucker and our brand new film, Twisted Gables. We have both of these available on our website. That is horrorlandmedia.square.site. Go make sure that you go pick those up. We will have these available also at conventions. So again, if you guys are planning on attending a convention, you can follow us on those social medias, see where we're going to be. If we're not going to be somewhere near you, go to the website and the link in the description down below and get you a copy of these. They're great. I don't know that I would call them great. That's the Carl coming out in me. They're fun. They are super fun and definitely worth the price, I feel like. We've put a lot of work into these and we would love the support. And I do honestly think that if you watch them and you go into them with an open mind, knowing that they are low budget horror, I do think honestly that you guys will enjoy them, if nothing else. They might not be your favorite. They might not wind up on your top 10 lists of the year. But I do think that they offer something that you guys can get enjoyment out of. So definitely check those out. Support independent horror. Support all independent horror, whether it's your concept medias, whoever it may be. But anyways, again, we appreciate it. Follow us on all the socials down below. Check us out at a convention near you. And we'll catch you next time with another episode of To Keep or Not to Keep whenever we get enough stuff watched to do another one. We appreciate it, guys. We'll catch you next time. Thanks.
Thank you.